Welcome, everybody. I'm Matt.
I'm Dean.
Welcome to another episode of The Real DMV, your backstage pass to all things film-related in the D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area. Dean, can't tell you how excited I am about the guest today.
We've been waiting for a little while.
This one is different from the others. So we've had a lot of actors on. We've had some coaches. We've had casting directors. I think this is the first time we've had a stuntman, stunt coordinator, fight choreographer, and actor.
And he's also an actor. So he's got unique perspective.
100%. This individual's been on Iron Man. He's going to be on the new Superman. We had some scheduling difficulties because he's hot off the set of Mayor of Kingstown.
One of my favorites, yeah.
And he's still doing that right now. He's been in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for Marvel. He's been in Hood Rats, Harsh Times with Christian Bale, Kicking It with Disney, The District. The list of IMDb is like off the charts. I printed them out, but they're so small I can't read them anymore. So we're going to have to get him to talk about them.
So underachiever?
Underachiever. Mm-hmm. I'm excited, and I want to welcome GEO CORVERA.
All right, GEO.
Yeah.
There we go. We hear that studio audience going wild. GEO, welcome, man. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, appreciate the making time to come see us in your busy schedule. We were supposed to have you. Was it last week?
Last week,
yeah.
And you got a last minute hot call, right? So
it's the kind of call you want to get. Like when someone says, "Hey, I can't make it because I'm doing Mayors of Kingstown," you're like, that just gives us more material. So we're good.
Yeah.
So,
what's going on with this schlub? He's going to a wedding? Is he, he's got to wash his hair that day, and he's like,
sleeping.
I'm going to be on Mayor of Kingstown.
Yeah. But Geo's living in the area now, and he's from the area, but he's also moved all around and acted in lots of different, I think you said LA, Atlanta, and now you're kind of back.
Yes.
Right. So without me filling in for what you do, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started and your journey?
Yeah. So I grew up in Virginia, doing martial arts and gymnastics, traveled the United States competing, from a young age, 9 years old. And I saw a Bruce Lee movie and Ninja Turtles, and I said, I want to be Bruce Lee and Ninja Turtle, in movies. I never knew about stunts, but I called it out 7, 8 years old. I said, I want to be in movies one day. Of course, the whole DMV area, the Hollywood thing is not big, So when I was 22 years old, that was in 2000, a friend of mine wanted to get into the movies also. So he's like, hey, I'm going to move to LA, try to do this movie thing. You said you always wanted to do movies. Like, why don't you come with me? And like I said, I always wanted to do it, but I would never have done it by myself. So, I had somebody to go with me. So I'm like, I felt a little more, okay, I'm not going to be alone. So moved to LA, did the background work for about a year, ended up getting my SAG card, but it still didn't work for like 2 years later. Ended up getting on a movie called The Rundown with The Rock, which was my first big movie.
Yeah.
And after that, man, it was like a snowball effect, and like they say, this business is really important who you know. So I started making connections while I was working. Then you start hearing about more projects, because stunts is a little different than acting. We don't have agents or managers, so you can't go for auditions. So it's more word of mouth. Yeah.
Did not know that. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this world.
It's different from the whole.
I need to audition you jumping off this bridge, and I'm going to film.
You're really trying to get rid of me.
So usually you get hired for whatever your background is. Like I said, I'm a martial artist, gymnast, so I tend to do more fight stuff. But you have to get familiar with other things too, because otherwise you get categorized. Oh, he's just a fighter, so they only bring you a movie that's fighting in it, But so I've done everything, man. Car hits, fire burns, stair falls, high falls, shooting guns, you name it. Kind of a bit of everything.
You have to keep your certifications up for all those things. Like, do they expire?
No, not really. Once like we're talking about driving courses. Once you do 1 or 2 courses, you kind of certified, I mean, you can keep training on your own if you want, or keep attending these schools. But nah, not really.
And you probably got a ton of stories. I don't even know where to begin.
Oh, yeah. I don't know where to begin either. But I will ask this. So when you wanted to get into stunts, What was it that made you decide, you know what, I can be an actor, but I also want to do this stunt thing? And how do I get started in stunts? Did you have a mentor for that, or did you speak with someone in the industry that gave you that in? How did that happen for you?
So I kind of fell into it. Like I said earlier, I moved to LA to become an actor. And there was a gymnastics place that a bunch of gymnasts, martial artists, break dancers, a gymnastics place, people just meet up. It was like every Friday, you pay your $5 and we just all hang out. And like I said earlier, the people start talking, oh, there's this audition, or they're looking for this. And then they said they were looking for stunt guys that could do martial arts and gymnastics. And I was like, what stunts? And it's funny because it didn't really, I'm kind of slow sometimes. Jackie Chan already came out and he's a stuntman, well, an actor also, but it didn't hit me like that. And I went to the audition. Like I said, I booked it. And then I was like, oh, I get to do my martial arts stuff, this and that. Okay, I might be a double or behind the scene kind of thing.
And get paid.
But yeah, I was going to say I get paid. So, and I still get to do my gymnastics and martial arts. So I'm like, I'd rather go this route.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
So how do they vet whether you are just some guy that came off the street goes, yeah, I think I can do a stunt? Like we talked about certifications. How do they validate that you're really a stunt man? Because you could be like, hey, I can take a punch. I can catch myself on fire. Blow me up. I mean,
trust me.
Find out
you get people like that, and it's kind of scary. Sometimes. For me, I've run shows before. I started coordinated, fight, choreograph. I'll have an audition. And I've been doing this, like I said, the martial arts since I was a little kid. Stunts for 25 years. From the second that you give me a jab cross or a front kick, roundhouse kick, I can tell you how your body moves. I can tell you've done it 10 years ago or you started a week ago.
Got it.
So at least with the fight stuff, yeah. But yeah, it's scary, man. Sometimes you do get people like, oh, I've done this, I've done that. And they'll punch somebody in the face for real. Actually, I got punched in the face for real for somebody that said that they knew stunts or they have done stunts before film fighting. And no, they didn't know about distance and things like that.
It's a huge liability for the producer too, I would assume.
But the thing with that that people don't realize, when you lie and something happens like that,
you'll be found out.
You're not coming back.
And word travels like like fire kind of thing, and sometimes you get blacklisted. It's so. I learned early, never lie.
Yeah, I'm sure your community is even smaller than there's the acting community. Then there's that's subsets.
It's such a niche thing, and I'd love to do more with that too, but I just don't have those skills. So it's amazing. I mean, you've been able to parlay it into so many roles. I mean,
I want to know about all of them. I want to know about the Marvel one. I want to know what's happened. I don't know if we can ask you about Mayor of Kingstown, what you're doing there. That sounds a little bit more acting than stunt stuff, maybe.
Or both.
Or maybe both. Yeah, okay. Yeah. But I don't know how much we can ask because it's an ongoing production right now. But I mean, I'd love to hear just some.
I have a million stories for every movie.
Okay, so then let's pare that down to the funniest or like the most insane thing you've seen that could have gone wrong or did go wrong.
Ooh, not really on the sets that I've been, man. Everything's been pretty safe. The sets that I've had friends that died, I wasn't in those projects, and so the sets I've been in, man, they double, triple check stuff, for safety. So, I mean, you always are going to get the bumps and bruises or maybe get a broken finger, but nothing that, people die or anything like that,
So negligence?
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen some.
Not really, not like I said, not on the sets that I've been in, the coordinators that I've worked for, like I said, they're double, triple checking everything before
That's good.
They do stuff. But
that's a byproduct of all the things that have happened over the years too.
Right.
Yeah. And you hear the stories, man. It's crazy.
Now, speaking of stories, I'm going to bring up two things on, I mean, I need a magnifying glass, but Axel F.
Oh, yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop. And, well, I'll ask you about the segment here in a minute, but any funny stories from Beverly Hills Cop?
Was it the new one or the
new one?
Oh, the new one. Yeah,
Netflix, okay. So actually, I do have one.
You're going to say you're not old enough for the old one. You're old enough,
I
but
grew
not
up
to
with
be
those.
not to be in it.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like 5 or 10 years old then.
We were, yeah.
But I actually do have a story with that one. So again, it was acting. The majority, I would say 90% is acting / stunt. So you get to see me. Sometimes I'll just have one line or maybe one word, but the majority of the scene is me fighting, getting killed, getting beat up, So it was an acting scene, but it was in Spanish. I had to say a line in Spanish. If you see the movie, I come from behind him, and I end up capturing him. Put the gun to the back of his head, and
Eddie Murphy.
No, I forget.
Judge Reinhold.
Yeah. The other guy, the actor. Yeah.
I think I remember what scene you're talking about. He's in it's towards the end.
Yeah.
And he's in the oil field or something.
Yeah, I forgot how to describe it, but they're bringing in some stuff, and he's hiding, looking for stuff. So I come from behind him. So the line in English is you're at the wrong place, asshole, right? But I have to say it in Spanish. I'm playing a Mexican cartel, So he says it in Spanish. Estás en el lugar equivocado, cabrón. Okay.
He is from San Miguel, El Salvador.
Yeah, in Spanish. Yeah, in Salvador. But
I knew that. I knew what he was saying.
I swear to God, guys, I wasn't nervous, okay? But for some reason, I would say the first line, but when I get to the asshole part, the cabrón, I called him every other stupid, dumb, idiot, like every other word except for asshole. And so this is the funny part. So probably it was like on our 8th take or something, and then I say, you're at the wrong place. And then I blanked out. I swear, like nothing in my brain is empty. And then I said, you bad guy.
That's funny. In English?
Yeah. No, it's in Spanish, but as persona mala,
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was funny because, they have the people that have the script, the reading. And then they cut, of course, and she comes over she's kind of like, Geo, that last line, the last take, you called him a bad guy, whatever.
It's not inaccurate.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, but we got some good ones, good takes.
What was working on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like?
Oh, man. So I went in, I worked on that show a couple of times just as a stunt performer, but then I came in on the second season like an acting part, and my whole thing was that I was really strong, really powerful. I've been like doing steroids and stuff. So that episode actually was a blast because, I got to do a big fight scene with one of the leads, Ming, one of the agents there. Yeah.
In the U.S., was it all filmed here?
Yeah, in L.A.,
Got it.
And actually, real quick story to that one too.
Yeah.
I just finished in Atlanta. I was for 2 months doing Ant-Man. So now it's like the first week of December. I went back to LA, and my agent calls me, and she's like, "Hey, I want you to go read for this part for this TV show called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D." I'm like, it's December, and I'm like, the holidays are coming. I just left. I was gone for 2 months. I just want to get ready for the holidays and not do anything. He's like, no, I want you to really go read for this part. So I really didn't want to go. I'm like, okay, sure, I go. I went to the audition. Usually in auditions, if you don't hear within like 2 or 3 days, that means you didn't get it. They probably went with somebody else. 2 weeks went by. Okay, so I'm like, okay, I didn't get it. Whatever, move on, kind of thing. They called me and then they were like, oh yeah, this is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. production, blah blah. And then I'm thinking stunts though, But then they were like, are you available these dates? And then I said, excuse me, I was just there auditioning for you guys for this acting thing 2 weeks ago. He's like, yeah, you got the part. Oh, shoot.
Oh, yeah, by the way.
Yeah. And so with that one, it was a good one because I actually had my little 15 minutes of fame, with that one, going to like podcasts and radio stations because I'm one of like the main characters now and trading cards and everything. So
that's awesome.
It was
amazing.
Cool. Yeah, it was fun.
Well, I want to ask you about every single thing on here. I'm going to ask you about one other thing, and then I want to kind of go back and examine how you got from here to LA, then to all these other places. But you've also been on Cobra Kai.
Yep.
And that just ended, and that's one of my favorites. And there's also a guy that we're trying to get on the show named Kurt Hugh, and he I forget his role, but he ends up playing in.
He's in Atlanta, but
nice.
he's been in some Marvel things too.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But what was your experience like there? What were you playing, and what was your experience like?
So
there?
I came in the last season, which I think those are is out now on Netflix. We capture Ralph Macchio, me and another actor. We capture him, put him in the dog cage and stuff with all the dogs, and then he sees through a little window. And he's like, he's gone, and actually he kind of like is hiding. Ralph Macchio is run out. Ralph, we do a little fight piece with him. He grabs my friend and smashes him into like a pipe. He knocks him out. I have like a crowbar, swing at him. You know, he ducks, runs away, and he's like, "You should have fed your dog." And opens one of the gates with a dog. The dog attacks me and takes me down. Which I gotta tell
you're
you,
that guy. I just saw that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together, but you're that. Yeah, I remember that.
And well, I'm wearing a hat, but my hair was longer. I had it like in a man bun kind of thing, you know. But I got to tell you a quick story with that one. So we're doing the scene. Everything went great. Now we're at the scene where the dog's supposed to attack me. In the cage, they get him all riled up, you know, whatever, right? Action, they were over. He just run past by me, you know, go straight to his trainer, you know? So he would never attack me. I get ready like, where'd he go? You know, we did about 4 or 5 takes. Yeah, you know, and he wouldn't attack me. So I'll be honest, his trainer ended up doubling me. You know, they put a wig on
gets
it.
a double?
Oh, yeah. That's how
funny.
some people, you know? And so everything is me up until the part where the dog attacked, because he wouldn't attack me. You know, so but he attacked his
that's
trainer.
nice. The dog loved you.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're
He's
actors
like,
also.
I can't hurt Geo.
You know, we talk. That's a great story. We talk about,
right.
you know, a lot of people come on and talk about, hey, when they're in the presence of famous actors, fanning out or not fanning out on them, and trying to maintain that professionalism, and you know, giving them their space and all that stuff. So, you know, you've been around a lot of them. What was that like with Ralph Macchio, for instance, stuff like that? How is he, and how was the set? And
Yeah, well, everyone, you know, you hear the stories, you know, like they're people, man. They have their moments to act up or whatever. But I'll be honest, 99% of the projects I've been in, they're all really cool, you know, very professional. They're talented people. They take their job serious. They don't really like play around or joke around or nothing like that. Like I said, you know,
they're in the zone.
Yeah. Even like I've worked with certain like comedians that on TV, of course, they're funny, but in real life, honestly, they're serious. They don't really like, you know, hey, how's it going? Like, hey, nice to meet you.
It's acting too.
Yeah, you know,
put on a show.
Yeah. So even with Ralph, same thing, man. They stay, you know, acting professional with their job, and because they're kind of also directing at the same time they're doing the scenes. So you know, again, they're serious at the moment and making sure everything's going right.
Oh, is he a co-producer and director on that one?
Yeah, I
too?
think he does a lot of different
sense.
hats. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, he was cool to work with too.
Okay.
You know, and for me, like we were talking about, you know, the old Karate Kid movie. I mean, yeah, I was like a little kid when I saw it, and I grew up, and I'm like looking at these guys. Oh my God, like I grew up watching you. Oh my God, that's one of the reasons I'm doing karate, because of the Karate Kid. You know,
Amazing.
yeah. And so it's definitely, you know.
Did
fun.
you tell him that?
No, I don't.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I was watching this morning, actually, you know, how stuff will pop up on your feed. And there was a short of a guy at an airport that saw Ralph Macchio. I guess he was going to his plane.
Mhm.
And so the guy filmed him. And then I was with him up until the point that he went up and just started bothering Ralph and telling him all about his childhood experiences. And I have this picture. I'm trying to find it. Hold on. I dressed up as you. And Ralph was being very nice about it.
Yeah.
Probably nicer than I would have been about it.
They're used to it, man. You know, I mean, I bet you things like that has happened to him 50
Many times,
you
yeah.
know. So, but you're right. I mean, like anybody else, sometimes, you know, especially you're catching a plane in the morning, it's 6 a.m. You're not all there. You're like,
Yeah.
the last thing you want to do is talk to people. You know,
Well,
you
now
haven't
that brings
had
up something interesting. Have you ever been recognized walking anywhere?
No.
No? Do you enjoy
I mean,
that?
because of friends, you know, but like I can actually, I'll give an example. This weekend, I was hanging out with my cousin, and then she starts telling people, and then, oh my God, I did remember that. You know, you are, oh my God. And then they start asking questions and stuff, but nah, not really. But I do get, actually, I was telling my other friend the other day, like, sometimes when I go to like gyms or things, like people are always like staring at me like, I'm like, do I have a booger on my nose?
Well, that's
I don't know,
they,
like,
they probably
Something
think,
familiar
you know,
that they know.
I don't know if it's
yeah.
like my presence or, sometimes.
well, they're
like,
probably looking at you and thinking, if you just ate a burger or did some push-ups,
right?
you could have, big arms like Matt here.
But you know what's so funny? I was like I said, I just moved back 2 months ago, and I went to eat at this one burger place, and I'm sitting there. It's a sports bar. Everyone's like closer to the bar and whatever. I kind of went to like the little corner table, and the waiter comes and he's taking my order, and then he's kind of like, hey, "You're not from around here, huh?" And I'm like, "No, actually, I just moved here from LA." At the time, it was like maybe 3 weeks or something. Like, yeah, you don't carry yourself like people around here. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm not doing anything different, guys. I'm just, I don't know, ordering a burger. I don't know.
I'll take a double cheeseburger. You're not from around here, are you?
Yeah. Maybe I added
See how he ordered that?
extra pickles or something. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because we talk about headshots and how headshots here look different from headshots in Atlanta. They look different from headshots in LA. And I'm sure, you go visit Miami and you look at the people walking around Miami, they don't look like they're from here.
Yeah.
They definitely look Miami. So
Yeah.
You were in LA for how long?
25 years.
Well, LA is going to rub off on you and you're going to
Totally.
come back and
Yeah.
go, okay, well, I'm going to carry myself the way I did in LA because it is what it is.
Yeah.
But what took you from LA to, you went to Atlanta after that? And you were in Atlanta for how long?
3 years.
What took you there? Just the productions?
Yeah.
Work. Okay.
LA, like I would say like 7-9 years maybe. They're still doing features, but mostly TV. So most of the features went to Atlanta. So in LA, if you were booking work, it was mostly again with stunts. It was like a day. If you got lucky, maybe 2 weeks tops. As for in features, because they're filming for 6 months, 10 months, or whatever, you could easily get a month or 6 months, of work. So they were doing all the Marvel, DC in Atlanta. So I went over there. Actually, I take that back a little bit. It was during COVID. Everything had shut down in LA. And a friend of mine who lived in Atlanta was like, everything's open here. All the clubs, all the gyms, all the restaurants. I'm like, hey, can I come stay with you for a couple of weeks? And while I was there, I started booking work. So then I went back to LA, got my stuff, and moved because I started working more.
You go to where the work is.
Yeah.
But then you ended up in New York
No.
at some point? Okay.
No.
Or maybe we were just talking about it.
Yeah, we're talking about it. I lived, I want to say 2009, 2010, Louisiana. Because that's when it was getting big down there too. They did like all the Twilight movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, over there. So I went there for a year. I didn't like it, so I went back to LA.
Well, and we talked about it, and you would know better than we would, but LA's not old LA anymore.
Yeah.
The productions are kind of spreading out a bit.
Yeah.
And LA is just kind of, it's still Hollywood, but explain what it's like to be in LA today.
I mean, like you said, all the work's going either to other states or other countries. Too expensive. It's always about money. So producers want to save money. So they go where it's cheaper. Mostly the South, Mexico, Texas, Georgia.
Yeah.
I know they're filming a little bit. I heard a couple projects like Alabama too. So anywhere in the South is. Well, actually, anywhere outside of California.
It's spread out, yeah.
So of the 7,000 things you've done, there's one that jumps out at me because it's near and dear to my heart. Because when I started getting into this, one of my buddies, because I'm a former Marine, my buddy's like, have you seen Barry?
I know what you're
And I'm like,
yeah.
no, I haven't. So I just plowed through that in like a weekend. And so I want to know, what'd you do on Barry?
Yeah, so I had an acting part. I did a scene with Bill Hader, and I'm playing like an informant. So I know you said you've seen the show. He's like an actor / hitman, right?
Oh yeah.
So there's a hit on me. So he's gotta like go kill me and stuff. So, but he's like got to learn some lines for his audition,
Yeah.
you know, so he's on the phone at the same time trying
I
to
remember
scope
that.
me, you know, or whatever. And then he does end up capturing me and, you know, take up running. He actually, the coordinator had set up a little fight between me and him, but he didn't want to do a fight. So if you see the scene, I go to try to run over the fence and he pulls me down and he's like chokes me out. And but he was like really nice about it. I'm like, of course I can sell it, you know, and he doesn't even have to squeeze, but like he would put his arm instead of like my throat to at least cover my throat. He like, I'm like, you can pull it back, you know. He's like, no, I mean, am I gonna hurt you? I'm like,
He took
no.
one look. He's like, I don't want to do a fight scene.
No.
He has a reputation for, and he'll even explain it. He talked about it being on the set of Barry, that he laughs at everything.
Oh yeah.
Was that your experience that he was laughing at things?
And it was cool because actually I was on only there for 2 days, okay, and it was the whole scene is just me and him, and of course a couple extras or whatever. So yeah, it was just me and him in the room hanging out. So I got to, you know, really like pick his brain about how he got started and the jobs that he's done, and you know, I've seen a lot of his work and stuff. So it was more like that. So and yeah, you know, we joke around, you know, and while we're talking and stuff. So yeah, he was funny. He was cool. Good energy, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like he's probably got more stories than we'll know to even ask. That's the problem.
Again,
you know?
Part 2
to
be continued.
To be continued. Right.
Absolutely.
This is one of those things where, what is it? The M dash.
M dash. That's where we interrupt each other in a script. Yeah.
Let me M dash you here.
Okay.
For stunts, because we've talked a lot about acting gigs. What has been one of the stunts that you've done where you thought, I probably wouldn't do that again? I'm glad I'm done with that. Or any funny stories about doing stunts?
So, like I said earlier, I grew up doing martial arts and gymnastics. That was my thing, you know. So I remember getting called for the first time to do a car hit, and just thinking a car hit. What? Are you crazy?
Hit, like getting run over.
Yeah.
Or tumbling over.
Yeah.
We need you to stand here.
Yeah, and the car's going to hit you, yeah. No, actually, in the scene, the movie's called Madhouse. I was doubling a kid, and he runs into the street, and he's running. He was like in a mental home, like an asylum or something, and they're trying to capture him because he escaped. So I'm running, and then, of course, the car hits me from behind. But going back to when they called me for the job, first I accepted it, and then he goes, it's a car hit. And I'm like, ooh. I said, I'll be honest, sir, you know, again, never lie. You know? I've never done any car hits. You might want to go with somebody else that can do that because I've never done them. But one thing that I learned also, never undercut yourself, meaning because you never done something doesn't mean you won't be able to get it, you know?
That's good advice.
So, yeah. So I said, I'm a fast learner. You teach it to me, I can get it. I promise you that. So because I said that, and they brought me like 2 hours before crew call and everything, and they taught me. So that's with everything, man. Like I said earlier, fire gags, high falls, wires, I got to learn on set because like I was always honest. I said, I never done them, but I'm a fast learner, and you teach me, I can get it. But if you want somebody that is more experienced, definitely you might want to go with somebody else.
Now, you're beginning to teach this stuff too? You're an instructor?
Yes.
As well.
Actually, in LA, I had a class for film fighting class for 12 years. So again, going back to because of my martial arts, that's my mostly bread and butter kind of thing. So I'm more comfortable with teaching film
And you're
fighting.
still doing that?
Yeah. Actually, I started here in the DMV area. I got 3 people so far in the last month.
How would they find you? If they
social media, Instagram, GEO CORVERA, Facebook, you know, YouTube.
Is it like one-on-one clinics, or do you have a class that you run every
so far
regular?
Right now there's one-on-one, and then a couple that I have this coming week. It's a couple too, a guy and a girl. But I'm open to anything individually or groups. I'm actually still up in the talks, you know. There's nothing solid yet, but I'm planning to open up a stunt gym at some point, you know.
And this would be something when someone's done one of your courses, they can say, I am qualified to do X, Y, or Z?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
great.
We'll teach.
Sign me up. I'm in.
The film fighting stuff, reactions, falls, wire work. We're not going to, at least, again, we're still in the talks, not get too crazy with the car hits, fire burns, and things like that. Maybe Again, we're still talking ideas. We'll bring in special guests to teach certain things, but the main thing is going to be film fighting, falls, and reactions.
How do you do the wire works? Do you have the equipment, or do you have to go rent a place that you lease out for that?
Well, I have a team,
I see.
In LA or Atlanta, but I don't know if they would move out here to do that kind of stuff. Again, maybe do like a workshop and bring people in and stuff. But in time, we're going to set up all the gear on our own,
Shout out to all you chiropractors out there.
Yeah, I'm going to be bringing you some
clock and make some calls. But yeah, sign me up for that because that's amazing.
Yeah, it's fun, man. Again, it's fake fighting, so it's not real. I know we're talking about jiu-jitsu
but there's an art to that too.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because when I've only done one of those scenes, but you do have to know that striking distance, and it can be dangerous if you're not aware of that. Your scene partner leans in and you're not expecting it.
It happens.
That's happened too.
I got it in the face.
So yeah, I have too. And it's definitely just a different art form.
Yeah,
and especially for doing anything like that for camera is just so much different.
Yeah. It's weird, and and I don't mean this in a bad way. I've gotten people when I've coordinated shows that'll come to me and their background is martial arts, like, oh, I can, I'm a kickboxer or a capoeira person or whatever. I can do stunts. And in the beginning, I'm like, oh yeah, don't forget, I grew up doing martial arts. So that's how I came into the business. And they didn't know, about distance. And then, they start hitting people and things like that. And then that's when it hit me. Only because you know martial arts doesn't mean that you'll be good at stunts. You got to learn the how it goes about distance, timing, the camera angles. That's also another part that goes in, to shooting action.
And there's break in the fall too. I learned that the hard way.
When you fall, definitely, yeah. Because a lot of people, I can just throw myself. There's a technique to it. You might end up doing it one time if you do that. And imagine doing it 20, 30 times because that's how many takes sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah.
So
that's tricky.
I mean, we're padded up too, depending. But I give a lot of props, honestly, to women because sometimes it's not like men. You could be wearing something like this with the jacket. You can hide your pads, the knee pads, back pad. Women sometimes mini skirts, lingerie stuff, so they can't hide nothing, and they have to do a stair fall on concrete.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah, about women, I'm like, I'm not. I'm glad I'm not. They're tough for the guys.
By the way, you know what? After this, and we might film it, we'll take turns. Matt, if you want to stand at the top of these stairs over here,
I can take a fall.
You can take a punch.
I can take a punch.
You may fall down a couple stairs, but we'll get you back up.
Between stunt coordinator, fight choreographer, actor, trainer, what brings you the most joy and why?
The most joy? I mean, I'll be honest, maybe the training, just because I do like to help people. And then whether it's, because I also train people, not just for movie stuff, but just to get in shape. Maybe they want to lose weight, and when they end up losing the 10 pounds that they wanted to lose, that makes me feel, good. They feel good. They're happy. If it's a movie related thing that I have to train them for, maybe it could be an audition and they booked the audition, that makes me feel good because I had a little help, for them to get in the part. So yeah, that's why I want to do the whole gym thing. It's crossed my mind a couple of times. And I think coming back to, the DMV area, because you see that a lot in LA, there's a lot of gyms that teach that and stuff. So
there aren't here. So if
you'd
have a niche thing.
And I want to mix, like I said, I'm into the fitness stuff. So, fitness, CrossFit mixed with boxing, kickboxing, and the stunts, film fighting. Yeah.
Back to the not auditioning for stuntman roles and stunt coordinator roles. I'm a little murky on that. So there's a role out there. They need a stuntman. How do you just apply basically based on your resume and skills?
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple
not
ways.
auditioning.
Yeah.
Right.
No. Yes and no.
Interviewing maybe.
Yeah. Yes and no. So it depends. So as a stunt coordinator, they have to check your credits because depending what the job is, not just going to throw you there and have you do actions with explosions and car hits, and you've never done that. You have no experience, Actually, I was coordinating. This was, and again, depending on the level of the celebrity, also, I was coordinating a Eminem music video, and it was some wire stuff that needed to be done. I'm not a wire expert, but I have a team, like I said earlier. So I told him, I said, I've never done it, but I have a team, you know. But I'll tell you right now, the last like 4 shows that I coordinated, it was all wire related, you know. So I'm familiar with wire work and stuff, but I do have a team. So yeah, they check your background and see, you know, if you're really telling the truth or not, because anybody can say anything, you know. And yeah.
I think what's interesting is like Geo is one of those rare cats who didn't necessarily he didn't transition into this. He said, at 8 years old, I want to be an actor. I want to be a stuntman. And he made it happen. Yeah. And he's turned this into a full-fledged career where there's like, it sounds like, it looks to be nonstop. I'm sure there's still ups and downs, like in everything, just dry periods.
Yeah. I mean, we had that strike last year for,
right.
I'll be honest, I didn't work for like 8 months, I want to say, you know, because of the strike.
So what do you do during that? So what did you do for
training, personal training?
Training, okay.
Yeah. Workshops and stuff, yeah.
Because I saw a lot of actors release music because people are doing nothing but sitting at home. You can't go anywhere, so you're consuming music, or doing their own YouTube channels, or you see Smartless, the podcast with Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, Sean Hayes. Yeah. I mean, they're making it work for themselves. You kind of have to have something else on the side.
I'll be honest, I mean, like SAG-related projects, I didn't work for those 8 months, but I did do actually a couple of for Univision, which is the Spanish channels. And of course, they're not connected with SAG or anything. So I did go actually to Miami to work on a Spanish soap opera.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then I booked a couple Spanish commercials. So
do you think Matt could be on the Spanish soap opera?
Yeah.
I think the limiting factor for me is the bilingual piece. I don't speak anything other than
I support you.
Other than
South to be
Jersey.
Really dramatic. No.
Yeah. Bad guy.
Bad guy. What's that Temptation Island or something with Montoya or whatever it is? And
I think I heard of that.
They let him watch his girlfriend making out with somebody else, and that's all he does is stare at TV and yell, no, and then he runs off into the ocean. It happens like once an episode. You can do that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Matt may or may not watch it every day.
Yeah. I don't know if you can talk about that you're going to be in the new one. Maybe not.
I can't really say like details, but there's a scene as like a military scene, a big shootout, you know, between the two armies, and
it's already been shot. Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
we shot it last June. Yeah, and it was down in Atlanta.
I won't ask you any more about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's
not Goonies. It's not Time Bandits. I'm waiting for Time Bandits too. When that comes out, I can die happy.
Yeah, I got 2 movies coming out this summer. I think Superman is in July, and then they did the remake of Naked Gun
with Liam Neeson. I've been waiting.
Yeah,
and you're in that one.
That one too. Yeah.
I want to be surprised. I don't want to ask you what you did next because I want to be surprised because I'm going to the theater to see that.
Yeah, I'm excited. Those 2 movies. I mean, the trailers. Well, I haven't seen the trailer for Naked Gun yet, but Superman looks good. Looks good.
I'll be in a student film next week. It's my student film.
This has been a humbling experience for me, this interview. But inspiring because one, I'm going to take some courses. It's something.
Well, but you've got your big dumb face on the wall over there.
There you go.
Well, I could have used a stunt coordinator on that one because I sprained my ankle pretty bad on that one. But that was just me running through the woods with some poorly made Roman shoes. So, they weren't made for actually running high heels as usual, so.
Yeah. Stunt wise, when we're talking cars too, right?
Yeah.
So what films that you can talk about have you done stunt work in vehicles? Like are these car chases and things like that?
Yeah, there's been a couple, man. Definitely, I want to say, is it Savages? I work with oh man, I'm blinking out too. Benicio del Toro in 2 different movies,
wow.
Savages, and then
tell me Sicario, please.
Sicario, yeah.
You worked on Sicario?
Yeah,
Which one?
The first one. Yeah, it actually is the opening scene when they blast through the walls in this house, and there's a couple guys. They're checking all the rooms.
Yeah.
Emily Blunt comes into one room, and I'm ready. Waiting for her with the machine gun, and she takes me out. You know.
You just made me famous for my son, who that's his favorite movie.
Oh, no way. Yeah, that was a good one. So I want to say it was Savages that I did driving. There's a scene that, I don't know, they're just going on a rampage, killing all these guys. So we're part of Benicio del Toro's group, and there's a cop that pulls this guy over. He shoots him. I drive up, you know, with the other guy. We get out. We take the guy and take his car and take off.
May I?
M dash. Yes, of course.
Because I don't want to leave this room without asking about Iron Man or Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah.
So what'd you do on those?
So with Pirates, I only worked on the third one, World Ends. Oh my God! So we did so many different scenes. Again, where anywhere where there was action, sword fighting, things like that on the boat. You know, there was a big fight. There was one scene that there's like a meeting between all the different guys from different worlds, and a whole fight breaks out or whatever. So
where was that filmed? Also L.A.?
L.A.
Okay.
I got to tell you something real quick with that one. So I think they were filming for like 2 or 3 months in the Bahamas. So I came in, like the 3rd or 4th month into it, you know. So like I said, I knew that they were filming in the Bahamas. They called me, and I'm getting excited. Oh, so when do I get leave to the Bahamas? And they're like, "Your scene is in Palmdale." I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And so they built
a parking lot.
Yeah, at in the airport at an airplane hangar. They built the ship is like, I'm not kidding, like 80, 90 feet long, like real deal kind of thing. And we do a lot of sword fighting and swinging, you know, back and forth. There was two boats fighting, so we're swinging back and forth and sword fighting.
You were on the Black Pearl?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
I got to meet Johnny Depp and all the. So we're talking about the actors and how they are, you know, on set sometimes. With Johnny, it was funny because, he walked in and you could just feel his presence. You know, it's just like, oh shit, you know, like the energy and everything. So with him, it was funny to talk because he stays in character. So he's that whole method, like Jack Sparrow, like, yeah, you know, whatever, you know, like.
Well, Dean likes to say my moral compass is like Jack Sparrow's. So, you know, it's all over the map.
It's true.
Just
and
spinning.
Johnny Depp filmed a movie here, didn't he?
Well, he was in court here.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He's in court in Fairfax County.
Yeah. It's called People versus Amber Heard. Right. I think is what it's called. I'm not sure what it was rated.
Right. What about Iron Man?
Iron Man.
That was the first one.
Yeah, I was on the first one when they first built the suit in the cave, and he comes out shooting his fires. We're playing a bunch of the bad guys running in, coming in and shooting at him. There's this one scene because there was a lot of action going on in the cave, and then he finally comes out of the cave, and there's like 4 of us, and you see me. I'm one of the first ones to start shooting at him, and then he blows the fire at us. What is he? Running away from the fire.
Where was that filmed?
Also, yeah.
LA.
And actually, like in the desert, like, you know, it was like nothing to do.
It was behind an In-N-Out burger.
Probably.
Yeah. A lot of times,
underwhelming.
That's how it is, and people think like, oh, the big studios. No, it was around the corner. They blocked the road over there, you know.
Yeah, that happens here in DC sometimes too. There's been a couple productions that I've been a part of, and then they go, "We're going to go to Pittsburgh because we don't have film permits for the next couple of days. So we're just going to blue screen it." And they build like steps that look like the Lincoln Memorial, and then it's in the middle of this giant parking lot. So I'm looking out at like an 18-wheeler that's got all the equipment and crew, and I'm supposed to be looking out at the reflecting pool.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is happening?
But that's what it's all turning into, right? With the AI, especially now, you know.
Yeah.
We can film this and make it look like we're in Japan or something, you know.
That's a good segue, though. How do you think that's going to impact that niche industry? Is it going to take away? Yeah. At
some point, I mean, I don't know when, 5, 10, 20 years from now, but yeah, it's coming.
I don't know. I think everything comes back around. If you look at the new Aliens, like Ridley Scott wanted to go back to the original look and feel of going to, you know, costumes versus CGI and a lot of it. So maybe There's going to be an appetite for saying, we need a real guy for this.
It's tough,
We
man,
need-
because we're talking about, the new generation that's coming into the business. Like for us,
that are reluctant to take a hit.
It's
Yeah.
we'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how I see like movies, like maybe I don't know if you guys can answer this question. When was the last time you went to the movie theater? I mean, I couldn't tell you when.
A week?
I say a couple
weeks.
weeks.
Say weeks ago. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, seriously, I couldn't tell you when I went to the movies. But when I did go, Bad Boys. Okay. Because
The newest one?
I worked on it, so I went with my friend. Oh, I'm in this new movie. Let's go see it. This was in Atlanta. I swear to God, there was like 10 people in the whole movie theater.
That's usually how it is now. I'm in there by myself.
Right?
But mostly that's because they leave when I come.
Yeah.
But,
So my point
it's
with
true.
bringing that up is like, back in the day, theater, right? Started, just outside on
was
the stage, whatever. There's still, theater going on now, but I mean, how popular are they? I mean, once in a while, The Lion King is coming out. Well, let's go see Wicked,
Right.
Whatever. But it's not like the thing. So I feel like movies are gonna be kind of like that. I mean, again, down the road.
Well, then you got your Tom Cruises who do their own stuff. That's the opposite extreme.
Yeah.
And
That's a shame too, because I understand exactly what you're saying. I think we're all on the same page about, movie theaters feeling like they're being phased out. But it was such an experience growing up to go get the popcorn.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And go, get the milk duds or
and
whatever.
some things just lend themselves to the big screen. Like you
you
just know, you're like, I got to see
and the
that one on the
surround
big
sound.
screen.
Yeah.
So.
No, the whole experience. I remember as a kid, I think one of the first movies I went to a movie theater was Rocky 4, I want to say, when he fights the Russian guy. I was like 8 years old, I think, and my dad, and Saturday we're gonna go see that new Rocky movie at the movie theater. What? Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it was right here in like Old Town Alexandria. I don't even know if that movie theater's still there. It was only like 4 theaters in there, like,
Was it in a mall?
No, it was like on Old Town. This is like 88, 89.
Oh, you're talking about the King Street Theater.
Yeah.
The one that's now that it had.
Is it there?
Still
It's the building's there now. It's a Patagonia.
Oh.
And that was only within the last couple of years because
Yeah.
it was still a theater where you could get beer and it was one of those. Like
Oh.
eat and drink.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
an Alamo?
Watch a little movie. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's now a Patagonia.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Again, this is like late 80s.
I mean, I still enjoy that experience of
Yeah.
going into an actual theater and watching it with the audience.
Yeah. No, you're right. I like it too. But yeah, that's how
Especially
that's how I
when
see
you're on the screen.
it. Yeah, I'll be honest. Like a lot of people ask me, about the if I grew up watching like the superhero stuff, Marvel, DC, and stuff. I was never into it. I started watching them when I started working on them. Oh, let's go see, Spider-Man. Let's go see Ant-Man, because I worked in it.
I think that's awesome because
But,
we
yeah.
were also talking about I forget the name of. I'm terrible with this, but the name of the guy who's playing Superman now was on We Own This City, and a buddy of ours who was on the show previously was talking about working with him, where he was, I guess, that actor pointed to him and said, "Who's that guy?"
It's not Henry Cavill. It's the new one.
It's the
You mean?
new one. Yeah, and there was a whole thing about that, but that was really neat. Kind of 6 degrees of separation because
Yeah.
you don't have to work in LA anymore.
Yeah, that's how it is. At least for my experience, like I said, even with stunts, is who you know, man. Word of mouth. You're around the right places, right time.
This is one of those interviews where at the moment we stop, I know I'm going to be like, why did I not ask him this,
Yes.
and this? And I forgot to ask this. And, and I'm really angry right now because we're coming up on time. And I feel like we need to like ask him like, well, here's what we're going to ask him. When are you coming back? Because we're going to have you back on. We got to have you back
anytime
on.
you wanna
guys,
come
back.
yeah, you guys tell me this is fun.
I'm
you
glad.
know?
It's fun for
So,
me.
this is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. What's before we go though? What is
Keep going.
Yeah. What is not necessarily a funny story or like any story from a set that you think is pertinent to a new actor? What it's like set etiquette. The way to act on a set, something important to take away for new actors that don't realize you need to do certain things on sets.
Yeah. And this goes whether it's acting or stunts and anybody, when you're new, I've always learned, like keep your eyes open and ears open, keep your mouth shut. Just pay attention, learn, when you try to act like you know it all, or being negative, like the energy, people don't want to be around that. So a lot of times, just stay quiet, wait for your instructions, and then do them. Just follow the instructions.
That's great advice
Yeah.
for life.
Yeah.
And etiquette. I got to write that down. Etiquette.
Well, a lot of acting is listening.
Yeah.
And that's something we don't talk enough about on the show, but acting is listening. So if you're on a set, whether you're acting or just waiting to act,
Yeah.
that active listening is really important.
Yeah. And everyone's different, right? Like as an actor, you might have an idea about something, and you, if you don't talk to the director and let them know what you want to do, and you just go with your idea, then they get mad. Now there's argument, about things like that. So like I said, either stay quiet, or if you do have an idea, you ask politely, hey, sir, or whoever, I have this idea. I don't know if you like it, and just even with stunts, we'll have a fight piece to do. And then sometimes maybe the fight is not flowing, that punch looks weak. So maybe you have an idea to do a kick instead, or, you know what I'm saying? Things like that or whatever. So you might bring it up. Hey, I was thinking, I don't know, but this one feels a little funny. I don't know what you think. Can I throw a kick instead, or something? And they'll say yes or no, if they don't want it, they're like, no, leave it like that. Okay, whatever, but yeah, just the way you approach people, but most of the time, yeah, I just stay quiet, man. They tell me what to do. And I do the job. Unless, of course, we're talking about safety earlier. There's something like, there's something sharp right there, and that's where I'm supposed to land. Like, you got to let people know.
Because everybody's got to be a safety person on set.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
So things like that, I mean, they always, you can stop production. They're like, okay, action. They're like, no, stop. Whatever, there's something here, or somebody's not ready, or somebody was tying their shoe or whatever.
Yeah, that's good. That's really important.
Yeah, they're cool with that. You must stop in the shot. Because again, like we were talking about earlier about accidents. Because you got to speak up, man.
Yeah,
I always do things like that. I mean, I've been blessed. 25 years in this business, knock on wood. Of course, a lot of bumps and bruises.
Not real wood.
Oh, shit.
I'm kidding.
I'm joking. A lot of bumps and bruises, man, but never broken anything, So, and like I said earlier, I've had friends, die from accidents and stuff. So it's dangerous. So you have to be on your toes, and you have to be aware of your surroundings. A lot of times I've been on shows not because they wanted me for a certain character, certain whatever. Is this honestly to protect the actor? Because maybe there's a scene, it's like a riot scene, and there's like 100 extras, and I'm not trying to be mean with the extras, but they're trying to they act like it's their movie, so they're trying to be in front of the camera.
I got to have my moment.
Yeah, they push the actor out of the way so they can be in front of the camera. So no, seriously, we've had and they get serious, like pushing you out of the way for real. So kind of like you said, did a couple pushes this morning, trying to like stop them, like boom, like you're not going nowhere, stay back, whatever. So it was more for safety for the actors.
Yeah.
That they'll bring in stunt people, and we're aware, of the situations. Or I've been in situations that I saw something was about to happen, and I pushed somebody out of the way, and still was able to cover and save that film, or that scene.
I would imagine that's a saving grace on set, that they would appreciate the fact that you've done that.
Yeah. Totally.
Instead of yelling at you about it.
They seen it, like, do a good job on that, way to react and whatever. I don't know whether it's because I've been doing this for a long time, martial arts. I just have awareness of my surroundings, and I always like, as we're setting up, I'm looking at everything, guys. Like, okay, what's over there? What's over there? Okay. Because what ends up happening, you have to be aware you're surrounded, because maybe we have to do a fight like where you're standing with there, but sometimes, things change. Whatever, you start pushing me a little bit. Now we're moving here, and I was actually supposed to fall there, where it's like maybe they had set up a crash pad for me there, but now you push me here where there's actually concrete, and either you already know, so you're ready to fall on the concrete and know that you're gonna miss the crash pad. But yeah, you just have to be aware of your surroundings. So.
Geo, where can people find you?
Social media, Facebook, GEO CORVERA, YouTube. Have a lot of videos there from work and acting stuff too. Instagram, one Latin Geo, and but just Geo Corvera also. Anywhere you can Google me, actually find a lot of my stuff there.
Well, we always like to ask the audience, to like and subscribe if they got something out of this. I will say this time, if you didn't get something out of this, you were asleep.
Something is wrong.
Because I got a ton out of it, and I still have a million questions.
Now I'm going to wake you up.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're going to put Geo's information down below in the description. If you know somebody this might help, definitely send us their way. Share with them. Find us on the socials. Find Geo, like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.